You haven't even made the phone call yet, but you've already made it 14 times in your head. You've mapped out your opening line, their likely response, your reply to that, and somehow also prepared for the version where it goes completely wrong. And the worst part? After all of that, the real conversation still feels terrifying. If that's you, this video is going to explain exactly why your brain does this, when it's actually helping you, and the precise point where it crosses a line and starts working against you. First, why does this happen in the first place? Because your brain is, at its core, a prediction machine. Think of a pilot training in a flight simulator. The plane isn't real. The turbulence isn't real. The emergency landing isn't real. But the brain treats it as real enough to build genuine skill, genuine muscle memory, and genuine confidence for when the real thing comes. Harvard psychologist Daniel Gilbert spent years studying what he called prospection, the brain's ability to simulate future events before they happen. He found that humans spend a significant portion of their mental lives running simulations of things that haven't occurred yet. This isn't anxiety. This isn't overthinking. This is your brain doing exactly what it evolved to do: prepare you for what's coming by running the scenario in advance. The person who rehearses a difficult conversation before a performance review isn't broken. They're a pilot in a simulator. The rehearsal builds the scaffolding. When the real conversation arrives, they've already mentally navigated the terrain. But here's where it stops helping and starts hurting. Rehearsing before a client meeting? Completely fine. That's preparation. That's what your brain should exactly be doing. But if you've ever caught yourself rehearsing how you'll order a coffee, mapping out the exact words, the tone, the backup plan if they ask a follow-up question about milk, that's something different. That's not preparation anymore. That's your brain trying to eliminate a risk that was never really there. Research on social anxiety identifies this kind of excessive rehearsal as what psychologists call a safety behavior. Something you do to manage fear rather than actually face it. And here's the part that feels almost unfair. Mentally rehearsing your lines specifically to avoid stumbling over your words may actually make it more likely that you'll stumble over them, because the rehearsal gives your brain a preview of resolution before the real thing happens. It feels handled. The urgency quietly drains out. And when the real conversation arrives, you're not fresh. You're performing a sequel to a conversation your brain already finished without you. The difference between the client meeting and the coffee order isn't the rehearsal. It's what's driving it. One is preparation, the other is avoidance wearing preparation's clothes. So how do you know which side of the line you're on? Here's the simplest test I've found, and it's less about the rehearsal and more about what you're rehearsing for. Imagine holding up a mirror, not to yourself, but to the other person in the conversation. Before you run the simulation again, ask one question. Would I understand myself if I was the one listening? Not, did I say the right words? Not, did I sound confident? But would the person on the other side of this conversation actually understand what I'm trying to say and feel like I'm genuinely talking to them rather than performing at them? That question shifts the entire frame, because productive rehearsal is about clarity, making sure your point lands. Excessive rehearsal is about control, making sure nothing unexpected happens, no awkward silence, no stumble, no imperfection. And here's the hard truth. Imperfection is what makes conversations real. The people you most enjoy talking to aren't the ones who delivered perfect lines. They're the ones who adapted when something unexpected happened, who paused when they weren't sure, who said, "Actually, let me think about that," instead of reaching for the preloaded response. You can't rehearse adaptability. You can only build it by letting real conversations be real, messy, imperfect, and occasionally exactly what you didn't plan. So the next time you catch yourself running the same conversation for the 6th time, don't stop, but ask what you're actually doing. If you're rehearsing because you want to be clear, because you want the other person to actually understand you, that's the simulator. Use it. If you're rehearsing because you're terrified of saying the wrong word in front of someone who's known you for 10 years, bring that mirror back up and see yourself in it again. Your brain's ability to simulate is one of its most remarkable features. It's not the problem. The only question is whether you're using it to prepare or using it to hide. If this video explains something you've never had words for before, consider this your sign to press that subscribe button.